Good evening and welcome. Tonight there is nowhere you need to hurry, nothing you need to solve, and no destination waiting impatiently ahead. There is only a road, a very old road, one that was never truly built, never marked with stone, and yet gently connected continents for nearly 2,000 years. If these quiet journeys through history help you slow the rhythm of your own day, consider subscribing and leaving a gentle like. It helps this small circle of listeners continue wandering through forgotten places together, one peaceful night at a time. Now, if you are already resting comfortably, allow your breathing to become as steady as footsteps on soft sand. Tonight we leave behind the clocks we know. Here time does not move in minutes. It moves in deserts. It moves in mountain passes. It moves beneath stars that seem so patient they no longer care how many centuries have passed beneath their light. And somewhere beyond the edge of darkness, a caravan is already waiting. Not rushing, never rushing. Simply waiting for the night to become cool enough to walk. The Silk Road is often imagined as a single road stretching from China to the Mediterranean. But it was never one road. It was countless invisible paths. Some disappeared into mountains. Others vanished into river valleys. Many simply dissolved into the endless deserts of Central Asia, leaving behind nothing but temporary footprints that the next wind quietly erased. Millions of travelers crossed these lands, yet the earth remembers almost none of their steps. Perhaps that is where our journey should begin, not with an emperor, not with a battle, but with a footprint that will disappear before sunrise. The desert waiting before us is the Taklamakan. Its name has long been associated in local tradition with a simple warning, the place of no return. Yet even here, life continued to move, never quickly, patiently, measured, almost impossibly slowly. The sand beneath every traveler was unlike the rough grains found on many shores. For countless centuries, the winds had ground the mineral surface into an extraordinarily fine powder. It drifted like scattered flour. Each step pressed softly into it before the surface settled again with remarkable gentleness. There were no stone roads, no paving, only an endless sea of pale earth, constantly reshaped by the invisible hands of the wind. Every caravan accepted one simple truth: nothing they left behind would remain for long. The desert borrowed every footprint, then quietly returned itself to silence. During the day, the sun ruled completely. Summer temperatures could climb beyond 40 degrees Celsius. The air shimmered above the dunes. The light became almost blinding. Every movement demanded precious water. Every unnecessary step carried a cost. And so experienced caravans rarely challenged the desert under the strongest sunlight. Instead, they waited. As evening slowly approached, something extraordinary happened. The same landscape that had radiated unbearable heat began surrendering it with astonishing speed. Within only a few hours, warmth escaped into the immense sky. The air cooled rapidly. The body that had struggled beneath burning sunlight suddenly searched for heavy wool and thick felt against an unexpected chill. The change was abrupt, yet profoundly quiet. No announcement, no dramatic storm, only the steady surrender of heat to darkness. It was this darkness that invited the journey to begin. Far ahead, the caravan slowly assembled. Not horses, but Bactrian camels, animals shaped not for speed, but for endurance. Watching one walk is unlike watching almost any other creature. Its movement is gentle, deliberate, and rhythmic. Both legs on one side move together before the other side follows. For anyone riding upon its back, the body sways from side to side with remarkable consistency, not unlike a slow pendulum, minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day. Many travelers would spend months living within that quiet rhythm until it became almost impossible to remember walking any other way. It was less like traveling, more like floating across land. Listen carefully. The caravan is moving now, yet almost nothing can be heard. The camels carry broad, leathery pads instead of hard hooves. On this fine desert surface, their feet produce remarkably little sound. Instead, the night offers smaller voices. Leather harnesses gently creak with each slow movement. Wooden crates shift almost imperceptibly. The deep breathing of the animals rises and falls like distant waves. Above all of these sounds comes something else. Bronze bells. Each camel wears one, not as decoration, as protection. Every bell has its own slightly different tone. Low, patient, almost hidden beneath the wind. The caravan master does not need to see every animal. He listens. If one bell falls silent, he knows someone has drifted away into darkness. The bells become a conversation carried through the night, soft metallic notes flowing one after another. Never hurried, never chaotic, only enough sound to remind every traveler that they are still together. Around them, the desert itself begins to answer, not with words, not even with echoes, but with music. There are places near Dunhuang where the dunes possess an extraordinary voice. When the wind moves the upper layers of perfectly rounded silica grains, the friction creates a deep, resonant sound. Travelers today call them the singing sands. Long before scientific explanations, ancient listeners heard something entirely different. Some believed the dunes were breathing. Others imagined distant instruments hidden beyond the horizon. The sound itself is low, almost like the sustained voice of a cello. It never dominates the silence. It becomes part of it. The desert seems to inhale, then slowly exhale, as though the earth itself were sleeping. The caravan advances only a little farther. There is no urgency. A loaded caravan rarely covered more than 15 to 20 miles in an entire day. Consistency meant survival. Speed invited mistakes. The guides understood something modern travelers often forget. The shortest journey is not always the safest. The safest rhythm is the one that can be repeated tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and perhaps hundreds of times after that. So every step became nearly identical to the last, a quiet agreement between people, animals, and landscape. No one struggled against time. They simply walked within it. If you reached out now toward one of the bundles tied carefully upon the camels, your fingers would discover something unexpected. Silk, but not the impossibly smooth fabric many imagine today. This silk is still raw. Its natural coating remains. Its surface feels slightly firm beneath the fingertips. Its scent carries faint traces of dried earth and mulberry leaves. Nearby rest tightly wrapped bundles of spices, enclosed within heavy canvas and leather. The warmth stored from the day's sun slowly releases their hidden fragrances into the cooling night. Clove, ancient camphor, warm cinnamon bark, heavy musk, none overpowering, each appearing gently before dissolving into the cool desert air. Not far away, another package hides something entirely different. A piece of jade from Kutan, dense, remarkably heavy for its size, Even after the scorching afternoon, its polished surface remains unexpectedly cold beneath the hand. A small island of coolness carried across an ocean of sand. Objects traveling together, each born in a different landscape, each moving patiently toward another world, and perhaps, without anyone noticing, something else has begun traveling too. Not simply silk, not only spices, not merely stone, but thought. Ideas move as quietly as caravans, sometimes even more quietly, and before long this invisible road will carry far more than goods between distant horizons. It will begin carrying pieces of humanity itself. But that belongs to the next stretch of our journey. For now, let the bells continue their slow conversation beneath the stars. Let the sand breathe its ancient song, and let every footprint remind us of something wonderfully humble. The people who crossed this desert spent years moving between worlds, yet by morning, the wind erased nearly every sign they had ever been there. Perhaps permanence has never been the measure of a meaningful journey. Perhaps, like the Silk Road itself, the quietest paths are often the ones that connect the world most deeply. So tonight, as the caravan disappears gently into darkness, we leave behind not a road of stone, but a trail of moments, already becoming part of the wind. The wind has already begun its quiet work. Somewhere behind the caravan, the last traces of passing feet are softening beneath drifting sand until the desert once again appears untouched. Nothing announces that people were ever here. And yet the journey continues, not because the earth remembers, but because those walking upon it do. The night grows deeper. Above, the heavens become clearer with every passing hour. Far from cities, far from smoke, far from the glow of countless lamps, the sky reveals itself with extraordinary patience. Thousands of stars emerge one after another until the darkness is no longer empty, but gently filled with light. For the travelers of the Silk Road, these stars were never ornaments. They were companions. They were maps. They were promises that the world still possessed direction, even when the earth below offered none. The desert could not be trusted. Its surface changed with every wind. A familiar dune might disappear within days. A shallow valley might become hidden beneath newly gathered sand. No stone markers remained forever. No footprints survived the morning, but the sky changed so slowly that entire generations learned to depend upon it. The caravan guides lifted their eyes more often than they looked at the ground. Some were local trackers whose knowledge had been carried from parent to child across many lifetimes. Others were Sogdian travelers who had crossed these routes so many times that the heavens had become almost as familiar as the streets of Samarkand. In the hottest weeks of summer, movement belonged almost entirely to the night. Water was too precious to spend beneath the full strength of the afternoon sun, so as darkness settled over the Tarim Basin, the caravan quietly awakened. Sleeping bundles were folded. Leather straps were tightened. The camels slowly rose to their feet with practiced calm. No shouted commands disturbed the silence. Everyone already understood what the night required. The first steps began beneath the stars. Not hurry, simply certain. The guide searched first for Polaris, steady, reliable, a quiet point around which the northern sky seemed to turn. Nearby, the familiar pattern of the Pleiades slowly drifted across the darkness, while Sirius shone with remarkable brightness closer to the southern horizon. These were not distant curiosities. They were trusted landmarks. Their slow movement across the heavens revealed both direction and the passing of the hours. Sometimes, a guide carried an astrolabe. Its carefully crafted metal rings helped measure the height of familiar stars above the horizon. But even without such instruments, experienced eyes often knew enough. Years of watching the heavens had transformed observation into instinct. Knowledge became memory. Memory became survival. The caravan itself seemed to breathe with the night. The gentle swaying of the camels settled into an even rhythm once again. The bronze bells continued their soft conversation through the darkness. Leather harnesses answered with quiet creaks. Wooden crates shifted almost imperceptibly. Nothing competed with the silence. Everything belonged within it. Even conversation became different beneath such a sky. People spoke more softly, not because they feared the desert, but because immense places naturally invite quieter voices. One merchant might ask how many nights remained before the next Orsis. Another might wonder whether distant mountains had already begun collecting fresh snow. The answers rarely came in numbers. Instead, they came in landscapes. Another stretch of open sand, a ridge beyond the next horizon, 2 more nights beneath these stars. Distance and time slowly merged together until neither seemed entirely separate from the other. A traveler did not think in hours. He thought in horizons. He thought in water. He thought in the next place where weary animals could lower their heads and drink. The journey reshaped the mind as gently as the wind reshaped the dunes. After enough weeks, ordinary measures no longer seemed important. There was only the next careful step, and then another. Months passed in this quiet rhythm. The landscape changed almost too slowly to notice. Far ahead, the distant outlines of mountains watched without moving. Behind them lay glaciers feeding rivers no traveler could yet see. Those hidden rivers would eventually give life to scattered islands of green surrounded by endless desert. But for now, water remained an unseen promise. The caravan trusted what could not yet be reached. That faith was as necessary as food. Occasionally, far across the darkness, another light appeared, tiny, almost uncertain. At first, it could easily be mistaken for another star resting low upon the horizon. But unlike the heavens, this light flickered. It breathed with fire. Along the hexy corridor stood ancient beacon towers built centuries earlier during the Han Dynasty. Constructed from layers of compacted earth, they rose quietly above the surrounding plains. Many had already grown old. Their edges had softened beneath countless seasons of wind. Some leaned slightly. Others had partially surrendered to time. Yet even in their weathered silence, they continued serving a simple purpose. At night, a single signal fire burning upon one distant tower told every traveler something profoundly comforting. Human beings still existed here. Someone remained awake. Someone was watching. Across vast emptiness, that solitary glow carried more reassurance than walls or armies ever could. No words passed between the fire and the caravan. None were needed. Light itself became enough. Many travelers remembered those distant flames for years afterward, not because they were bright, but because they were rare. In a landscape where loneliness stretched farther than sight itself, even the smallest sign of another human presence became deeply precious. The caravan pressed onward. Hour after hour, the stars slowly wheeled overhead. The bells maintained their patient rhythm. Occasionally, a camel released a long, steady breath into the cold air. White mist briefly appeared before disappearing into darkness. The night itself seemed suspended, not frozen, simply unhurried. It became easier to forget the world beyond the desert, cities, markets, families, politics. Even empires felt strangely distant beneath such an immense sky. A merchant leaving Samarkand knew the full journey to Changan, and the return home again could require 2 or even 3 years. During that absence, life continued elsewhere. Children grew taller, parents grew older, friends welcomed new seasons without him. Perhaps an emperor died, perhaps another took the throne. Perhaps borders shifted quietly while the caravan crossed another sea of sand. Yet none of those changes could be hurried. The traveler existed within another kind of present. A present stretched across mountains and deserts instead of calendars. Home continued without him. The road continued with him. For a little while he belonged fully to neither. He became something between departure and arrival, a quiet figure moving through a world measured not by dates but by distance. There is a curious peace hidden within such a life. When tomorrow cannot arrive quickly, the mind slowly releases its habit of rushing toward it. Perhaps that is why these endless nights beneath the stars still speak to us across the centuries. They remind us that not every meaningful journey asks us to move faster. Some ask only that we remain faithful to the next careful step, until almost without noticing, the horizon begins to change. Long before the travelers could see any change upon the horizon, they began to feel it. The air no longer carried only the dry stillness of open desert. Something softer rested within it, almost impossible to notice at first. A quiet promise that stone and water had not abandoned this land forever. The caravan continued at its patient rhythm. No one hurried toward hope. Those who knew the Silk Road understood that distant appearances often deceived the eye. A patch of green seen too early might be nothing more than shimmering heat. A ridge that seemed close could remain several nights away. Experience taught restraint. The oasis would arrive when it was ready, not when it was wished for. Gradually, the earth itself began to change. The dunes became less commanding. Gravel and packed soil appeared beneath the camels' broad feet. The silence remained, but it carried a different texture now. The vast openness slowly gathered itself into narrower paths. Far ahead, low walls emerged from the pale morning light. Not fortresses, not grand cities, simply places where human hands had chosen to remain. Among the greatest gifts along this immense route was not gold, not silk, not precious stone. It was water, cold water, living water, water that had somehow found its way into one of the driest landscapes on earth. The travelers had reached Turpan. Here, the desert seemed to perform a quiet miracle. Fields appeared where almost none should exist. Trees stretched gentle shadows across the ground. Vines and gardens found life beneath an unforgiving sun. Yet the true wonder could not immediately be seen. It flowed below their feet. Deep beneath the burning surface lay an intricate network of underground canals. The Karez, patiently constructed by generations of careful hands. These hidden channels carried glacial meltwater from distant mountains across many miles without exposing it to the fierce heat above. The desert remained scorching. The water remained cold, separated by only a few layers of earth. Imagine standing beneath the afternoon sun. Heat presses gently upon your shoulders. The ground radiates warmth through your boots. Yet somewhere below, unseen streams move quietly through darkness, clear, pure, untouched by the blazing sky. The defining sound of Turpan was not wind. It was hidden water, a soft rushing echo beneath the earth, never demanding attention, only rewarding those willing to listen carefully. For travelers who had crossed endless miles of silence, that quiet current must have sounded almost unbelievable. Not loud enough to overwhelm, only steady enough to reassure. Life continued here, even when hidden. The camels sensed it before many of the people did. Their pace subtly changed. Heads lowered, nostrils widened. Animals that had walked with unwavering discipline for many nights recognized the nearness of fresh water with ancient certainty. The caravan entered the oasis slowly, always slowly. After weeks of exposed horizons, enclosed spaces felt strangely unfamiliar. Stone walls softened the wind. Shade settled across narrow passages. Human voices returned, not many, just enough to remind weary travelers that solitude was no longer complete. The air itself had changed. The scent of heated dust still lingered, but now it mingled with damp earth. Fresh vegetation, wood, quiet traces of cultivated life. The contrast felt almost overwhelming after so much emptiness. One landscape had asked only for endurance. The other quietly welcomed recovery. Some travelers knelt beside flowing water without speaking. They washed dust from their hands, from their faces, from the thick folds of wool that had guarded them through freezing nights. No celebration followed, only gratitude expressed through silence. The oldest comforts rarely require many words. Nearby, the camels drank deeply, patiently, without urgency. Even thirst seemed to understand the rhythm of the road. Nothing needed to be rushed now. Water had been found. For a little while, survival no longer demanded constant attention. The caravan rested. Not because the journey had ended, but because every long journey survives through moments of stillness. Without pause, endurance slowly disappears. Perhaps the ancient engineers who built the Karez understood this better than anyone. They never fought the desert directly. They did not attempt to overpower the sun. Instead, they listened to the land. They guided water beneath the earth, where heat could not steal it away. The greatest achievements often arrive without spectacle. Quiet wisdom rarely announces itself. It simply continues working year after year, while louder ambitions fade into memory. As evening approached once more, cooler air returned across the oasis. The underground streams continued their endless passage, just as they had yesterday, just as they would tomorrow. Above them, generations came and went. Empires expanded, empires vanished, merchants departed, children became elders. The water beneath Turpan scarcely altered its patient course. Its journey unfolded in darkness. Its purpose remained constant. Perhaps time itself resembles those hidden canals more than the rivers we usually imagine. We rarely see its movement directly, yet it carries every life forward with quiet certainty. Before night fully settled, the caravan prepared once again. Leather straps were checked, bundles carefully secured. The familiar bronze bells returned to their places. Every departure carries a small trace of sadness, not because the oasis failed to offer comfort, but because comfort itself was never meant to become permanent. The Silk Road asked its travelers to love places without possessing them, to receive kindness, then continue walking. There was another sanctuary waiting farther east, one unlike any other. A place where the shelter offered was not only water, but memory, not only stone, but faith carefully painted upon its walls. Soon the road would lead toward cliffs where quiet voices had echoed for centuries, and where countless travelers paused before entrusting themselves once more to the immeasurable desert. There are places along every long journey where the body comes to rest, and there are places where the mind quietly follows. The road now leaves behind the hidden waters of Turpan and returns once more to the patient rhythm of stone and sand. Yet something has changed within the travelers. The desert no longer feels entirely empty. It has revealed that life can exist beneath surfaces. Now another discovery waits ahead, not beneath the earth, but within the mountain itself. Days pass with their familiar, unhurried rhythm. The bronze bells continue speaking softly through the cool evenings. The camels sway gently beneath their carefully balanced burdens. The stars still guide the caravan across the immense darkness. Nothing asks to be hurried. Nothing wishes to arrive before its proper moment. Eventually, pale cliffs begin rising from the horizon. At first they appear almost featureless, simple walls of weathered stone standing quietly against the desert sky. But as the caravan approaches, shadows begin revealing countless openings carved into the rock. Small, dark, patient, like windows looking inward rather than outward. This is Dunhuang. For many travelers, it is the final great refuge before entering the deepest reaches of the desert. For others, it is the first place where silence seems almost sacred. Here the road itself appears to slow. Merchants who have spent weeks measuring distance now pause without being asked. The camels kneel. Bundles remain unopened for a while. Even the bells seem reluctant to disturb the stillness surrounding the cliffs. Within these sandstone walls lie the Mogao caves. Generation after generation, hands shape chambers into the living rock, not for kings, not for armies, but for reflection, for devotion, for hope carried quietly across impossible distances. Outside, the desert continues breathing beneath the endless sky. Inside, the world becomes cool. The sudden change surprises every traveler. Only moments ago, the warmth of the sun lingered upon wool and leather. Now the air rests gently against the skin. Stone has preserved the night's coolness deep within its heart. Every breath feels calmer. Every sound travels differently. Footsteps soften against the floor. Voices become whispers almost without intention. The walls seem to invite gentleness. The scent changes as well. The familiar fragrances of leather, dust, camel wool, and distant spices slowly fade into the background. Another aroma quietly takes their place. Burning incense, warm, delicate, lingering patiently within the still air. It does not overwhelm, it simply remains. As though every prayer ever spoken here has left behind the faintest trace of itself. From deeper within the caves comes another sound, soft chanting, steady, measured. Sutras spoken with quiet devotion. The voices rise gently before touching the stone walls and returning again as faint echoes. Nothing in the chanting asks to impress the listener. Its purpose is not performance. Its purpose is repetition, like breathing, like walking, like the slow movement of stars across the night. Many merchants stop speaking altogether, not because conversation is forbidden, because silence feels more appropriate. Weeks of crossing open desert have slowly emptied the mind of unnecessary noise. The caves simply continue that work. Here, travelers perform an act that may seem curious to modern eyes. Some approach the monks with humble offerings, not seeking wealth, not bargaining for fortune. Instead, they ask for something far quieter, a safe journey. In return, they help support the painting of new frescoes upon the cave walls. Colors carefully mixed, brushes guided with patient hands, figures slowly emerging from bare stone. Each painted image becomes a silent companion for those who have not yet arrived, a prayer preserved in mineral pigment, a gesture of hope waiting for strangers still beyond the horizon. Long after the merchant has continued eastward, his offering remains. The painting watches over countless caravans he will never meet. There is something profoundly gentle about this exchange. One traveler helps another without ever knowing their name. Time itself becomes part of the gift. The artist paints, the merchant departs, another generation arrives. The walls continue remembering. Outside the caves, the caravan prepares for several days of rest, not in luxury, simply in safety. Food is carefully examined. Water skins are checked and refilled. Leather harnesses receive quiet repairs. Wooden crates are tightened where the road has loosened them. Nothing dramatic happens, yet these ordinary tasks hold extraordinary importance. The Silk Road depended less upon moments of greatness than upon thousands of moments of careful attention. A neglected strap could become disaster. An unnoticed crack in a water vessel might decide the fate of an entire journey. Survival belonged to those who respected small things. As evening descends over Dunhuang, warm light flickers gently from lamps placed within the caves. Outside, the desert gradually darkens. Inside, painted walls glow softly beneath dancing flames. Stone and light become companions. The boundary between earth and memory seems almost to disappear. Perhaps this is why travelers remembered Dunhuang long after reaching distant cities. Not because it marked another stop upon the road, but because it reminded them that every difficult journey also requires places where the spirit may quietly rest. The body recovers through food and sleep. The mind recovers through meaning. Tomorrow, the caravan will once again leave these protective cliffs. The open desert will return. The stars will reclaim their place overhead. The bells will resume their patient conversation. But something invisible will travel with every merchant from this place. Not another bundle upon a camel's back. Not another precious object wrapped in cloth. Only a quieter heart, made lighter by a few peaceful hours spent where stone learned to remember what human footsteps never could. Some gifts cannot be weighed upon a merchant's scale. They leave no mark upon a ledger. They cannot be tied inside leather bundles or balanced across the back of a patient camel. Yet they often become the most enduring things a traveler carries. When the caravan quietly departs from Dunhuang, the painted caves slowly disappear behind weathered cliffs. The fragrance of incense fades into the morning air. The echoes of chanting become memory, but the silence learned there remains. It settles gently within every measured step. Days continue unfolding with familiar patience. The road stretches onward. The stars return each evening. The desert offers its endless lessons in endurance. And eventually, after another careful crossing, high walls begin rising from the plain. Not defensive walls against armies, or built to shelter weary travelers from the wind. The caravan has arrived at a caravanserai. To someone standing outside, it appears almost severe. Thick stone walls, a single heavy entrance, very few windows. Everything designed to keep the desert where it belongs. Outside remains the open wilderness. Inside waits another kind of landscape. As the great wooden gate slowly opens, the rhythm of the journey gently changes. The endless horizon suddenly gives way to an enclosed courtyard. After weeks beneath an infinite sky, even space itself feels different. The walls gather sound, the wind grows quieter, the world becomes smaller and somehow warmer. The camels enter one by one. Their bronze bells fall silent as they kneel upon packed earth. Leather straps loosen. Heavy crates are lowered carefully onto the ground. Hands move slowly. There is no need for haste. Night has already offered its protection. The courtyard gradually fills with familiar scents. Dung fires begin burning against the evening chill. Their smoke rises lazily into the darkening sky before meeting the stone walls above. Nearby, mutton roasts over quiet flames. Its warmth mingles with the rich smell of wool that has absorbed months of dust, cold nights, and distant deserts. Freshly unpacked spice bundles quietly release traces of clove, cinnamon, camphor. The aromas drift together without competing. Each carries the memory of another landscape, another people, another beginning. Perhaps nowhere along the Silk Road could a traveler understand the vastness of the world more clearly than here, not because of maps, but because of voices. As darkness settles over the courtyard, conversations begin, never loudly. The road has taught everyone to speak with patience. A dozen languages quietly weave through the cool evening air, some familiar, others entirely unknown to neighboring ears. Words rise, pause, then gently disappear beneath the crackling of firewood. No one understands every conversation. No one needs to. Presence itself becomes a form of understanding. The Silk Road was never built upon perfect agreement. It was built upon shared passage. Around one fire sits a Nestorian Christian monk. His long journey has carried him across lands stretching far beyond the western deserts. Beside him rests a Zoroastrian gem trader. Carefully wrapped stones lie nearby, each reflecting tiny fragments of firelight. Across the circle sits a Mahayana Buddhist scholar whose travels have been measured by monasteries, mountains, and patient study. Under other circumstances, their lives may never have crossed. Yet here, beneath one quiet roof, surrounded by strangers equally far from home, they become companions for a single evening. No one raises their voice. No one seeks victory. The fire asks for neither debate nor conquest, only warmth. The true exchanges unfolding around these flames are surprisingly ordinary. A farmer's technique for preserving water, a better way to repair worn leather, a story about unfamiliar crops growing beyond distant rivers, news of a mountain pass still open after an early snowfall, advice about which oasis offers reliable wells, a recipe, a proverb, a prayer. Ideas move gently from one mind to another, without announcement, without ceremony, without anyone realizing they are changing the future. Silk certainly travels these roads, so do spices, so does jade, but ideas require no pack animals, they cross borders inside memory. One conversation survives where an entire shipment may eventually disappear. Perhaps this has always been humanity's quietest form of trade. Knowledge given freely, received gratefully, carried onward without losing any of its weight. Nearby, a Sogdian merchant listens more than he speaks. his people have become the true travelers of this immense network. While many imagine Roman merchants walking eastward to China, or Chinese merchants making the entire journey west, the reality is far gentler, far more patient, far more human. Between those distant civilizations stand the Sogdians. Generation after generation, they become the trusted bridge between worlds. Their homeland lies around Samarkand, yet much of their lives unfolds upon the road itself. They know the caravan routes, the oasis wells, the changing moods of deserts, the languages of distant marketplaces, the customs of unfamiliar cities. They carry more than merchandise. They carry familiarity between strangers. One merchant remembers the streets of Samarkand while sharing tea beneath a foreign sky. Another recognizes a language spoken hundreds of miles from where he first learned it as a child. Little by little, the world becomes less divided, not because kingdoms unite, but because ordinary people continue greeting one another. Night deepens. The fires burn lower. One by one, conversations fade into thoughtful silence. The camels rest peacefully against the sheltering walls. The bells remain still. Above the courtyard, only a narrow ribbon of stars is visible between the stone roofs. It is enough. Tomorrow, every traveler will choose a different direction. Some will continue east, others will return west. Many will never meet again, yet each will carry away something invisible that cannot be listed among the caravan's cargo. A new idea. A forgotten memory awakened. A different way of seeing the world. Perhaps this is why the Silk Road endured for so many centuries. Not because goods were valuable, but because curiosity proved even more precious. The road never asked distant people to become the same. It simply invited them, for one quiet evening, to share the warmth of a single fire before continuing toward different horizons. By morning, the courtyard is quiet once again. The fires have become pale circles of ash. The conversations of the previous evening have dissolved into memory, carried away in as many directions as the travelers themselves. Nothing remains exactly as it was. And yet, something invisible has already begun another journey. A thought borrowed beside a fire. A story remembered, a kindness offered by a stranger whose name may never be spoken again. These are the things that travel farthest. The caravan leaves through the heavy gate without ceremony. The bronze bells awaken once more. The familiar swaying of the camels returns beneath the cool light of dawn. Behind them, the caravanserai slowly disappears into the distance, until it becomes another quiet shape upon the horizon. Ahead, there is only the road. For many who walked these routes, the greatest burden was never carried upon a camel. It rested quietly within the heart. The Silk Road connected distant cities, but it also separated families for astonishing lengths of time. A merchant departing from Samarkand toward Changan understood something with remarkable clarity. He would not return quickly. If fortune remained kind, if illness stayed away, if the mountain passes remained open, if the desert spared both people and animals, the complete journey there and back might consume 2 or even 3 years, 2 harvests, perhaps 3. Children would learn new words. Parents would grow older. Friends might disappear into lives that continued without him. The road asked for patience, but home asked for it even more. Among the most remarkable discoveries ever made along the Silk Road were not treasures of gold or jade. They were letters, simple letters, written by ordinary people. Centuries later, near Dunhuang, within the ruins of an ancient watchtower, these forgotten messages were found after never reaching their intended readers. They had remained silent for more than 1,500 years, waiting, not beneath palace floors, not inside royal tombs, only within the quiet shelter of crumbling earth. The voices preserved inside them feel surprisingly familiar. They do not speak like legends. They speak like people. A merchant worries about unpaid debts. Another writes of business partners who have vanished. Someone wonders whether promised goods will ever arrive. The Silk Road, so often remembered through grand stories, suddenly becomes deeply ordinary, and perhaps even more beautiful because of it. Among these ancient words are the quiet echoes of those left behind, wives waiting in Samarkand, families wondering whether loved ones are still alive somewhere beyond mountains they will never see, hope stretching across deserts too vast for certainty. Every departure contained an invisible question. Will we meet again? No traveler could answer honestly. The road offered possibilities, never guarantees. Imagine the strange feeling of writing a letter. You sit beneath a familiar roof. You carefully choose each word. Perhaps you mention the changing seasons. Perhaps you speak of your children. Perhaps you ask your husband to return before another winter arrives. You fold the letter. You entrust it to another traveler, and then nothing. Weeks become months, months become years. The letter continues traveling, or perhaps it does not. Perhaps it waits inside a forgotten tower while generations quietly pass beyond its walls. The writer grows old without knowing. The reader never receives those carefully chosen words. Yet somehow the letter survives, not for the family who expected it, but for distant people centuries later, listening closely enough to hear the gentle heartbeat still hidden within its ink. There is a quiet tenderness in that thought. History often remembers emperors because they changed borders. But these letters remind us that ordinary people changed history simply by missing one another. Their longing became part of the road itself. The Sogdian merchants understood this feeling perhaps better than anyone. They spent much of their lives between worlds. Their homeland remained precious, yet home often existed more vividly in memory than in daily life. The streets of Samarkand lived within the imagination, while endless miles of desert stretched beneath weary feet. Familiar voices slowly became remembered voices. The smell of home became something recalled rather than experienced. Memory itself turned into another kind of homeland. Night after night, beside quiet campfires, perhaps a merchant closed his eyes and imagined sounds no desert could offer. The laughter of children, a courtyard filled with neighbors, the gentle creak of a familiar wooden door, the fragrance of bread prepared before sunrise, the simple comfort of recognizing every face around him. Homesickness is a curious companion. It does not always arrive with sadness. Sometimes it appears through small details, a certain smell, a melody, the sight of smoke rising into evening light. The road teaches endurance, but memory quietly teaches love. Perhaps this is why the caravan continues moving with such patience. Every careful step carries not only trade toward distant cities, but also one traveler a little closer to seeing familiar faces again. Even if that meeting remains years away, even if no certainty exists that it will happen, hope itself becomes part of the cargo, invisible, weightless. yet somehow heavier than every crate of silk. As darkness slowly settles once more, the bells resume their steady conversation beneath the stars. The caravan advances through silence. Behind each traveler stretches a past that cannot be reclaimed. Ahead lies a future no one can clearly see. Between them exists only this quiet moment upon the road. Perhaps that is where every human life truly unfolds. Not entirely in memory, not entirely in expectation, but within the gentle space between departure and return. There is a moment during every long journey when the traveler quietly realizes that the road is no longer something beneath the feet. It has entered the mind. Days continue passing, then weeks. Then entire seasons begin to gather behind the caravan like gentle layers of wind-blown sand. The rhythm never changes very much. Wake before the heat, walk beneath the stars, rest where water allows, listen for the bronze bells. Repeat. At first, such repetition feels demanding. Later, it becomes strangely comforting. The mind slowly stops counting individual days. There are simply mornings, evenings, the familiar movement of the camels, the endless conversation between silence and distance. Something subtle begins happening inside those who travel this way. The sharp edges of ordinary life become softer. Ambitions that once seemed urgent begin losing their voice. The road has no interest in personal importance. The desert offers the same horizon to everyone. Merchant, guide, scholar, monk. Every traveler becomes equally small beneath the sky. The immense scale of the land gently reshapes the human heart. For months the mountains remain ahead. The Kunlun range watches from the horizon with extraordinary patience. Sometimes they appear close enough to reach within a few days. Yet week after week, they continue standing in the distance unchanged. The eye becomes humble. Distance refuses to obey expectation. The earth teaches a quiet lesson. Not everything that appears near is truly close, and not everything that feels distant remains forever beyond reach. Walking through such landscapes slowly dissolves something within the traveler. Not identity, not memory, something smaller, the constant habit of placing oneself at the center of every story. The desert does not ask who you are. The mountains do not notice your accomplishments. The stars neither praise nor criticize. They simply continue shining with the same patient light they offered to countless generations before. At first, this realization may feel lonely. Then, unexpectedly, it becomes peaceful. There is great comfort in discovering that the world does not depend upon our constant struggle. The wind continues, the dunes continue, the hidden waters continue, the caravan continues, and we are quietly invited to move with them rather than against them. Perhaps this is why so many travelers described these immense landscapes with remarkable humility. The road gradually eroded the illusion that a single human life stood larger than time itself. Instead, each traveler became what they had always been, a single moving figure crossing an ancient earth, no more, yet certainly no less. Meanwhile, another transformation quietly unfolded. The meaning of time itself began changing. Here, no one asked what hour it was. The question would have carried very little meaning. Instead, travelers asked different things. How many mountain passes remain? How many nights until the next oasis? How many moons before reaching the great city? Time had become geography. A difficult valley might require several days. A mountain crossing might become an entire season. The journey itself became the calendar. Even memory changed its language. Someone no longer recalled events by dates. They remembered them by places. The year my son was born. I had just crossed the western desert. The winter my father passed away. Our caravan had not yet reached Dunbar. The spring we found unexpected water. The Pleiades stood high above us each evening. Life attached itself to landscapes. Every mountain became a chapter. Every oasis a remembered season. The road quietly replaced the calendar. There is something deeply human about this. Long before clocks divided our lives into precise moments, people understood time through experience. A child grows between two harvests. A forest changes across many winters. A caravan arrives after 3 moons. Time was never separate from the world. It lived inside it. The merchants accepted another truth that required remarkable patience. While they crossed deserts measured in years, the homes they had left behind continued moving through another rhythm entirely. Children became taller without them. Neighbors welcomed new families. Old friends disappeared. Festivals came and went. The traveler lived within one current of time. Home lived within another. Neither paused for the other. Imagine carrying this knowledge every evening beneath the stars, knowing that somewhere beyond the horizon, people you love are becoming older while you continue counting not birthdays, but mountain passes. It is a peculiar form of existence, almost like becoming a visitor inside your own lifetime, neither fully absent nor fully present. Perhaps this is what the Silk Road asked more than anything else. Not courage, not strength, but acceptance. Acceptance that some journeys transform not only where we stand, but how we experience existence itself. The caravan advances another careful mile, then another. The bells continue speaking softly through the cool air. A breeze smooths yesterday's footprints until the desert once again appears untouched. The travelers no longer find this surprising. They have walked long enough to understand that permanence was never the road's promise. Movement was. Far ahead, another horizon quietly waits. Beyond it stand cities not yet reached, conversations not yet shared, people who have never met, but whose lives are already slowly moving toward one another. Perhaps this has always been the deepest mystery of the Silk Road. Every traveler believed they were crossing the world, yet with every patient step, the world itself was quietly learning how to become connected. As distant lives slowly draw closer to one another, another truth quietly reveals itself. Connection does not always leave visible traces. Sometimes, the deepest bonds are the ones that disappear from sight almost as soon as they are made. Morning returns gently across the desert. The caravan moves as it always has. The bronze bells answer one another in low, familiar tones. Leather creaks. Bundles settle. The camels breathe with slow certainty. Behind them the sand receives every careful step. Ahead, the horizon offers another unwritten page. For thousands of years, people imagined roads as permanent things. Stone laid upon stone. Bridges spanning rivers. Walls marking boundaries. Roads built to outlast the hands that created them. The Silk Road was something altogether different. Most of it could not be seen. No great avenue crossed the heart of the Taklamakan. No continuous path stretched from Samarkand to Changan. There was only choice. One caravan followed a northern route. Another chose the southern Oasis. A guide altered the course after a shifting dune. A mountain pass closed beneath unexpected snow. The road changed because the earth changed. It remained alive precisely because it refused to become fixed. Each caravan created its own path, then surrendered it to the wind. The footprints beneath the camels pressed softly into the fine desert powder. For a brief while, they form a delicate ribbon stretching across the dunes. 100 camels, dozens of people, months of careful preparation, years of hope, all expressed through a narrow line of impressions no deeper than a hand's width. Then the wind arrives, not violently, not with anger, only with quiet persistence. Grain after grain, hour after hour, the edges soften, the hollows become shallower. By the following day, perhaps by the next afternoon, the earth appears untouched once more. The caravan has vanished. Not only from sight, from the landscape itself. It is one of history's quietest paradoxes. For nearly 2 millennia, millions of human beings crossed these deserts. Merchants, pilgrims, monks, messengers, fanimals, generations upon generations. Yet compared with the great stone roads of distant empires, they left astonishingly little behind. The desert accepted every journey, then gently erased it. At first glance, this might seem like loss, but perhaps it is something else. The Silk Road was never meant to conquer the landscape. It learned instead to cooperate with it. Stone roads declare permanence. The desert whispers adaptation. One asks the earth to remember. The other accepts that memory may lie elsewhere, not beneath our feet, but within us. Every traveler understood this without needing to speak it aloud. No one expected the road to wait patiently for their return. Each crossing was new. Each season reshaped familiar landmarks. Even experienced guides paid careful attention. Confidence alone could not replace observation. Yesterday's certainty might become today's mistake. There is quiet wisdom in walking a path that refuses to become predictable. It asks for humility every single day. The caravan moves onward through this invisible network. Nothing announces where the Silk Road begins. Nothing clearly marks where it ends. Instead, it exists through movement itself. A road made not from stone, but from intention. People often imagine history through monuments, palaces, temples, walls, fortresses. Yet some of the greatest chapters of human civilization unfolded upon places that have almost completely disappeared. The most influential conversations along the Silk Road left no inscriptions. The quiet acts of generosity between strangers raised no statues. The patient decisions made beneath unfamiliar stars produced no marble memorials. Even the countless footsteps that connected east and west dissolved into silence. And still, their consequences remained. An idea carried from one fire to another, a method of irrigation remembered in a distant valley, a story retold across generations, a prayer learned in one language and whispered in another. These things leave different kinds of footprints, invisible ones. The desert cannot erase those. Perhaps that is why historians continue studying this ancient network with such fascination. The physical road faded. Its influence did not. The visible path disappeared. The unseen connections endured. The caravan now climbs a gentle rise. For a moment, the travelers pause. Behind them stretches only an endless sea of softly sculpted dunes. No marks remain. No proof of yesterday's passage survives. It is almost as though they are the first people ever to walk here, and yet they know they are not. Countless others have crossed before them. Countless others will follow after. each believing for a little while that they are alone beneath the immense sky. Perhaps every human life resembles these vanished tracks more closely than we realize. We hope to leave something permanent, something that resists time. Yet much of what truly matters cannot be measured in monuments. A gentle word, a lesson shared, a child taught with patience, a kindness offered without expectation. Like footsteps in the Taklamakan, such moments may disappear from immediate view. But unlike the sand, the human heart has a remarkable way of carrying them forward. The evening wind begins rising once again. The bells answer with their familiar, peaceful rhythm. The stars slowly return above the darkening world. Somewhere beyond the next horizon, another caravan is making its own careful way across the same ancient silence. Its travelers will never know the names of those who walked before them. Yet they will inherit something greater than names. They will inherit the quiet confidence that someone, somewhere, once believed the unknown was worth approaching with patience rather than fear. And perhaps that invisible inheritance has always been the truest road of all. That quiet confidence passes from one traveler to another almost unnoticed. No document records the exact moment it changes hands. No ceremony marks its arrival. It simply becomes part of the road itself. The caravan continues eastward. Its pace remains the same. 15, perhaps 20 miles in a day, no more. There is no race to win, no prize waiting for the first arrival. The Silk Road has never rewarded speed. It has always rewarded constancy. One careful step, then another. The bells continue their low conversation. The stars continue their silent watch. The wind continues shaping the dunes without impatience. Everything around the travelers seems to understand a truth that modern life often forgets. Lasting things rarely happen quickly. The road itself becomes a teacher, not through words, through repetition. Every sunrise asks the same quiet question. Will you continue? Every evening answers it. Yes, just one more day. The merchants no longer think only about the destination. Many have discovered that the destination is never truly separate from the journey. A bale of silk carried for months has already fulfilled part of its purpose before reaching its final market. It has created conversations. It has required cooperation. It has brought strangers together around shared fires. It has taught patience to the young and endurance to the old. Long before it is traded, it has already changed lives. The same is true for every traveler. A merchant who left Samarkand is not the same person who will someday return. The road has quietly rewritten him. The desert has shortened his expectations. The mountains have enlarged his sense of scale. The stars have taught him humility. The caravan has shown him dependence upon others, and the long silences have revealed thoughts that busy cities often keep hidden. Without noticing the exact moment, the traveler himself has become part of the exchange, not simply carrying culture, but carrying change within his own heart. Perhaps this is why the Silk Road cannot be understood merely as a route across Asia. It was a slow conversation between civilizations, one that lasted not for years, but for centuries. No single caravan transformed the world. No single merchant connected east and west. Instead, countless ordinary journeys overlapped like threads upon a loom. One generation carried the work a little farther. The next continued where the previous had quietly ended. No traveler completed the story. Yet every traveler wrote a small line within it. There is something deeply comforting about that thought. Human beings often believe they must finish everything they begin. The Silk Road suggests another possibility. Perhaps our role is simply to carry something faithfully until another pair of hands is ready to continue. The guide teaches a younger guide how to read the stars. The merchant introduces his apprentice to the rhythm of the caravan. The craftsman shares a careful technique learned from someone whose own name has long been forgotten. Knowledge survives because it keeps moving. Stillness preserves objects. Movement preserves wisdom. The caravan crosses another stretch of open land. The fine sand continues flowing beneath the camel's broad feet almost without sound. The heavy jade from Khotan remains cool within its wrappings. The raw silk still carries its faint scent of dried earth and mulberry leaves. The spice bundles gently release traces of clove, cinnamon, camphor, and musk whenever the warmth of the day touches their leather coverings. These familiar companions have traveled together for months. By now, even their scents feel like fellow travelers. The merchants have grown so accustomed to them that the fragrances no longer seem unusual. Home has become whatever surrounds them tonight. Tomorrow, home will move again. There is a quiet freedom hidden inside such a life. Not the freedom of owning little, the freedom of learning that belonging can travel with you. As darkness returns, the caravan pauses upon a gentle rise. The horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. Somewhere far behind lie the caves of Dunhuang, the hidden waters of Turpan, the sheltered courtyards where strangers once shared bread beside quiet fires. Farther still, beyond deserts and rivers, rests Samarkand. Ahead, beyond distances almost impossible to imagine, waits Chang'an. The road between them is not empty. It is filled with invisible companions. Every merchant who once crossed here, every guide who trusted the stars, every family who waited patiently for footsteps that would one day return. The present caravan walks among unseen company. Not ghosts, memories, the accumulated patience of generations. If one listens carefully enough, it almost feels as though every bronze bell ever carried along the Silk Road still echoes softly across the centuries. Not loudly, only enough to remind us that we rarely travel alone. Our lives are shaped by countless people we never meet. Someone plants a tree beneath whose shade another will someday rest. Someone digs a canal whose water will nourish children not yet born. Someone paints a cave wall for travelers whose names remain unknown. Someone writes a letter that reaches readers 1,500 years too late, yet still arrives. Perhaps history has always moved in this quiet way. One ordinary act, repeated by many ordinary people, until the world itself begins to change. The night deepens. The stars resume their ancient places above the desert. The caravan settles into its familiar rhythm once again. Nothing dramatic announces the passing of another day. The Silk Road never needed grand endings, only faithful continuations. And somewhere beyond the darkness, beyond every mountain pass, beyond every erased footprint, the road continues, not because it was built of stone, but because generation after generation quietly chose to keep walking. Every generation that chose to keep walking added one more quiet thread to an invisible tapestry. No single traveler could ever see the whole design. Standing within the desert, the horizon was always too close. The future remained hidden beyond the next ridge. Yet time, with its extraordinary patience, slowly gathered every journey into something far greater than any individual could imagine. The merchants rarely spoke about changing the world. They spoke about reaching the next well, protecting the camels, keeping the silk dry, finding shelter before the cold settled across the dunes. History often grows from such ordinary intentions. Very few people wake believing they will shape civilization. Most simply try to complete today's work with care. The Silk Road became remarkable precisely because it was built from millions of such quiet days. A caravan departs, another arrives. A guide teaches a younger guide. A merchant remembers a new word spoken in a distant language. A monk carries a manuscript across mountains. A craftsman returns home with an unfamiliar technique. Nothing seems revolutionary. Everything seems small, yet century after century, these countless moments begin touching one another like streams joining a wider river. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a fragmented world learns to recognize itself. The road never erased differences, it revealed them. Silk remained silk. Jade remained jade. The languages spoken around caravan fires retained their own beautiful rhythms. The beliefs carried by monks, scholars, and traders remained distinct. Connection did not require sameness. It required curiosity, a willingness to continue walking toward what was unfamiliar. Perhaps this was the Silk Road's quiet wisdom. People need not become identical in order to belong to the same human story. The caravan moves onward beneath another peaceful night. The bronze bells continue answering one another with low, gentle voices. The camels breathe slowly. The stars turn with almost unimaginable patience overhead. Everything remains beautifully ordinary, and perhaps that is exactly why it endures. Empires rise with magnificent ceremony. They often disappear the same way. The Silk Road grew almost silently. It asked no one for applause. It demanded no monuments in its own honor. It simply continued. One caravan, then another, one generation, then another. Even now, as we sit quietly together centuries later, we know many emperors only through faded names. Yet we still speak of the Silk Road, not because it belonged to rulers, because it belonged to people, to merchants who accepted slow progress, to guides who trusted the stars, to monks who painted prayers inside cool stone caves, to engineers who carried hidden water beneath the desert, to families who waited patiently through changing seasons, to Sogdian traders who spent their lives becoming bridges between distant worlds. Their names have largely disappeared. Their work has not. There is a gentle comfort in that realization. Perhaps a meaningful life has never depended upon being remembered individually. Perhaps it has depended upon quietly contributing to something that continues after we are gone. The desert understood this. Every morning it accepted fresh footprints. Every evening it allowed the wind to smooth them away. Nothing remained visible, yet the road itself endured. Not through marks upon the sand, but through the simple decision to walk again tomorrow. As the caravan approaches another dawn, the eastern horizon slowly brightens. The stars begin surrendering themselves to the coming light. One by one, they quietly disappear. Not because they have left the sky, only because another kind of light has arrived. The travelers do not mourn their absence. They know evening will return. The stars have not abandoned them. They are merely waiting beyond the brightness of the day. There is wisdom in that too. Some things remain present even when we can no longer see them. Trust, memory, love, hope, the patient work of countless generations. Like the hidden waters beneath Turpan, they continue flowing beneath the surface. The caravan does not stop to admire the sunrise for very long. The journey still asks for movement. Leather straps are checked, bundles carefully balanced. The camels rise with their familiar, gentle swaying. The bells speak once more. Another day quietly begins. Perhaps somewhere, another child watches a caravan disappear toward the horizon and dreams of making the same journey one day. Perhaps somewhere else, an elder waits beside a familiar doorway, listening for bells that have not yet returned. Perhaps a monk lifts another brush toward a waiting wall. Perhaps hidden water continues its endless passage beneath warm earth. The road belongs to all of them, as it belongs in its own quiet way to us. Because the Silk Road was never simply a route across continents. It was an expression of something deeply human, the quiet refusal to let distance become separation. The patient belief that strangers are worth meeting, the willingness to carry not only goods, but understanding, across deserts, across mountains, across generations. And so, as our own gentle journey through this ancient world draws toward its final resting place, the caravan continues moving beyond the horizon, exactly as it always has. Its footprints will disappear. Its bells will fade into the morning wind. Its travelers will become memories. But the invisible thread they spent centuries weaving will remain. Binding distant lives together with patience rather than force, with curiosity rather than fear, with steady footsteps rather than hurried conquest. And perhaps, as sleep now settles softly around you, there is one final gift the Silk Road quietly offers. Not a lesson about history alone, but about time. The deepest connections are rarely made in a single moment. They are woven slowly, with gentle persistence. One conversation, one kindness, one careful step, until, almost without noticing, the world becomes a little smaller and every distant horizon begins to feel just a little more like home. When a distant horizon begins to feel familiar, something remarkable has already happened within the traveler. The landscape has not become smaller. The heart has quietly become larger. The caravan moves on. It always has. Even after all we have witnessed together, nothing about its rhythm demands a different ending. The bronze bells still speak in low, measured tones. The fine sand still yields beneath the broad, leathery feet of the Bactrian camels. The stars still complete their patient circles above the desert. The wind still performs its ancient work without pause. Nothing has changed, and because of that, everything has. The Silk Road was never built to astonish those who hurried across it. It revealed itself only to those willing to surrender to its pace. Perhaps that is why so many of its greatest truths seem almost invisible. The hidden water beneath Turpan, the quiet prayers preserved within the caves of Dunhuang, the conversations shared around a caravanserai fire, the homesickness folded inside an undelivered letter, the invisible road that vanished behind every passing caravan. None of these announced themselves. Each waited patiently to be noticed. History often celebrates moments that arrive with thunder. The Silk Road reminds us that civilization is just as often shaped by whispers. A guide choosing the safest path beneath unfamiliar stars. A monk carefully lifting a brush toward cool stone. a merchant tightening a worn leather strap before another week's journey, an engineer guiding glacial water through darkness beneath the desert. Small actions, repeated with care, across centuries. The caravan has become almost timeless now. It is no longer only one caravan. It carries every caravan that came before it. Within the slow swaying of each camel lives the memory of countless earlier journeys. Within every quiet bell rests the echo of thousands that rang before. Even the silence feels inherited, passed gently from one generation to another. There is comfort in imagining this. It reminds us that no human being begins entirely alone. Every skill we possess, every language we speak, every story we inherit, every road we recognize. Someone carried them carefully before us. Someone accepted the long journey so another might travel a little farther. Perhaps the Sogdian merchant learned the stars from an aging guide whose own teacher had once crossed these same deserts decades earlier. Perhaps the monk painting a fresh wall inside the Mogao caves copied gentle lines first drawn by hands long returned to dust. Perhaps the hidden canals beneath Turpan continued flowing because unknown workers repaired them year after year without expecting their names to survive. The Silk Road has always been filled with invisible generosity, the kind that asks for no audience, only continuation. As another evening settles across the Taklamakan, the familiar chill quietly replaces the memory of the day's heat. Heavy wool cloaks are wrapped once again around tired shoulders. The sudden cold no longer surprises the travelers. They have lived with this rhythm long enough for it to feel almost comforting. The body remembers, even before the mind does. The first stars appear, then another. Soon, Pluris quietly resumes its patient place above the northern sky. The Pleiades emerge with quiet certainty. Farther away, Sirius shines once more. No celebration greets their return, only recognition. Old companions have arrived for another night's walk. The guide lifts his eyes. There is reassurance in seeing what has always been faithful. Not because the stars have changed, because they have not. There are seasons in every life when certainty becomes precious. The travelers understood that better than most. In a world where winds erased roads, where news traveled slower than memory, where loved ones waited years for a familiar face, the steady movement of the heavens became a form of quiet trust. Some things could still be depended upon. Perhaps we all search for such stars, not always in the sky, sometimes within people, sometimes within places, sometimes within the quiet habits that gently carry us through uncertain days. The caravan begins walking once more. Its pace remains unchanged. It has never been interested in reaching the future before its proper time. That may be the final lesson hidden within these ancient deserts. The world is not woven through urgency. It is woven through rhythm, the same patient rhythm carried by bronze bells, by hidden rivers, by careful footsteps, by conversations that begin with strangers and end with friends, by generations willing to continue a journey they know they will never fully complete. Far behind, the wind has already erased today's tracks. Far ahead, tomorrow's footprints have not yet been made. Between those two quiet mysteries, the caravan simply keeps moving, not struggling against time, walking beside it. And perhaps that has always been the greatest wisdom the Silk Road could offer. Time is not merely something through which we travel. Sometimes, if we move gently enough, it becomes our most faithful companion. To walk beside time is different from trying to outrun it. The travelers have learned this without anyone ever needing to explain it. No teacher stood before them. No scroll carried the lesson. The road itself became the quiet instructor, morning after morning, night after night, season after season. Somewhere behind them, another year has quietly slipped away, not marked by a festival, not announced by a trumpet, only noticed in small, gentle ways. The wool cloaks feel a little more worn. The leather straps have been repaired many times. The wooden crates carry new scratches from unfamiliar passes. Even the camels seem to know the road more deeply than before. Time leaves its signature upon everything, softly, patiently, without asking permission. A merchant pauses one evening while the caravan rests. He studies his own hands beside the fading light. The skin has become rougher, the lines a little deeper. The desert has written upon him as surely as wind writes upon the dunes. Yet he does not mourn the change. To travel is to accept transformation. The road has never promised to preserve anyone exactly as they began, only to reveal who they become by continuing. Perhaps that is why the Silk Road asked for such extraordinary patience. A journey lasting 2 or 3 years could never be completed by someone hoping to remain unchanged. Every departure quietly required a farewell to an earlier self. The merchant who first left Samarkand carried expectations. The merchant who someday returns carries understanding. The distance between those two people cannot be measured in miles alone. It must also be measured in silence, in cold nights, in shared fires, in stars carefully followed across countless horizons. There is another quiet truth hidden within these long journeys. Every traveler eventually realizes that no one walks forever. Even the strongest guide will one day point toward the stars for the final time. Even the surest camel bell will eventually fall silent. Even the youngest apprentice will someday become the elder, teaching another generation how to tighten a leather harness or recognize Polaris above the northern sky. The Silk Road was always older than those who traveled it, and somehow that made every individual life more precious, not smaller, more meaningful. Each person carried the road for only a little while, then gently passed it onward. There is remarkable peace in such an idea. We do not need to hold the entire story, only the chapter entrusted to us. The desert itself seems to understand this. Each evening the wind reshapes its familiar dunes. No grain of sand remains forever in one place, yet the desert never loses itself. It simply continues becoming what it has always been. Perhaps humanity resembles that more than we often imagine. Generations rise like caravans appearing upon the horizon. Generations disappear like footprints beneath the morning wind. Yet something larger quietly continues, not because individuals endure forever, but because each one leaves behind a small gift for those still walking, a safer route remembered, a prayer preserved, a hidden canal maintained, a letter written, a story retold, a child taught with patience. These become the true inheritance of the road, not monuments, not kingdoms. Relationships carried across time. The caravan advances beneath another peaceful sky. Tonight, conversation is especially quiet. No one feels compelled to fill the darkness with words. After enough months together, companionship often becomes most complete when silence itself feels comfortable. The bronze bells continue speaking gently on everyone's behalf. The camels breathe their slow, familiar rhythm. The stars drift almost imperceptibly overhead. Nothing is empty. Everything is simply resting. One traveler gazes toward the heavens. He wonders how many others, centuries before him, stood in almost this exact place looking upward with the very same questions. Perhaps a Sogdian merchant once paused here. Perhaps a Buddhist pilgrim. Perhaps a guide whose name has disappeared completely from history. The thought brings unexpected comfort. It reminds him that uncertainty is rarely faced alone. Across generations, human hearts have asked remarkably similar questions. Will I arrive safely? Will those I love still remember me? Have I chosen the right path? The stars answer none of them directly. Instead, they offer something gentler. They continue shining. Sometimes that is enough. Not every question requires immediate certainty. Some require only faithful companionship while we continue walking. As dawn slowly approaches, the eastern horizon begins gathering its first pale light. The bells grow quieter. The caravan pauses before another day's movement begins. No one knows exactly how many more horizons remain, and strangely, that uncertainty no longer feels frightening. The travelers have learned that life is not measured only by where a journey ends. It is measured by the care with which each step is taken while the destination still lies beyond sight. Perhaps that is why, after thousands of miles, the Silk Road continues offering the same gentle invitation it whispered on the very first night. Walk patiently, notice quietly, carry lightly, share generously, and when your own footsteps are finally surrendered to the wind, leave behind not a road of stone, but a path of kindness that others may continue without ever needing to know your name. A path of kindness leaves no shadow upon the sand, and yet it may outlast every footprint ever made. The caravan has traveled with us through deserts that erased all visible traces, beneath stars that never hurried, through oases hidden beneath the earth, and into quiet courtyards where strangers briefly became companions. Now, without announcing it, the journey begins gathering itself, not toward an ending, toward a wider understanding. The road ahead still stretches beyond sight. It always will. That is its nature. No traveler has ever seen the entire Silk Road with their own eyes. Each person knew only the portion entrusted to them. The guide knew the stars above one desert. The monk knew the silence within one cave. The engineer knew the hidden water beneath one valley. The merchant knew the rhythm between one city and the next. Each understanding was incomplete. Together they formed something astonishingly whole. Perhaps this is how humanity has always grown. Not through perfect knowledge held by one person, but through countless small understandings patiently shared. The morning sun rises gently across the dunes. Its first warmth touches the fine sand that has traveled nowhere, yet has been shaped by winds older than memory. The caravan begins walking once more. The movement feels almost effortless now, not because the journey has become easier, because it has become familiar. There is a certain peace that arrives when the body no longer argues with the rhythm of the world. The swaying of the camels resembles breathing. The bells seem almost like a heartbeat. Even silence has become a trusted companion. Nothing feels separate anymore. The merchants, the animals, the wind, the stars, the road, each moves according to its own nature. Yet together, they create a harmony no single traveler could produce alone. Long ago, someone asked a simple question. What lies beyond the next horizon? That quiet curiosity became stronger than fear, stronger than distance, stronger than uncertainty. It persuaded ordinary people to step into landscapes they had never seen, not to conquer them, but to understand them. This may be the gentlest form of courage, the willingness to approach the unknown with respect rather than suspicion. The Silk Road carried this courage for centuries, not through speeches, through footsteps. Every careful mile declared the same quiet belief. The world is larger than our own village, and because it is larger, it is worth knowing. The Sogdian merchants understood this deeply. Each departure from Samarkand carried both longing and wonder. They left behind familiar voices, familiar streets, familiar seasons. Yet they also trusted that unfamiliar places held neighbors they simply had not met yet. That simple faith changed history, not because it removed every danger, because it made connection more important than isolation. Perhaps every oasis along the road represented this truth in miniature. Each appeared unexpectedly after long stretches of emptiness. Each welcomed travelers from different directions, different languages, different beliefs, different memories. Yet every thirsty traveler recognized fresh water. Every weary traveler understood shade. Some human experiences require no translation. The hidden canals beneath Turpan never asked where a traveler had been born. The cool air within the Mogao caves rested equally upon every visitor. The walls of the caravanserai sheltered strangers without choosing favorites. The desert itself treated every traveler with the same quiet indifference. Perhaps equality first reveals itself most clearly beneath immense skies. When mountains stand before us, they do not ask our names. The caravan pauses briefly as the afternoon light softens. One merchant gently lifts a piece of Khotan jade from its careful wrapping. Even now, after weeks beneath the desert sun, the stone feels cool against his hand. He smiles quietly. Some things preserve their nature regardless of the world surrounding them. Nearby, another traveler adjusts a bundle of raw silk. Its slightly firm texture still carries the faint scent of mulberry leaves and dried earth. A spice bale releases another whisper of cinnamon and clove into the warm air. These familiar companions have crossed mountains, deserts, and countless nights together. Each object carries the memory of every place it has passed. In a way, so do the travelers themselves. No one arrives unchanged. Each landscape quietly leaves something behind. A little more patience from the desert, a little more humility from the mountains, a little more gratitude from the oasis, a little more stillness from the caves, a little more openness from the shared fires. Bit by bit, the road assembles a wiser human being. The evening returns with gentle certainty. Above, the first stars begin appearing exactly where generations before expected them to appear. No surprise, only quiet reliability. The guide barely glances upward now. The heavens have become old friends. The caravan continues beneath their familiar company. The bronze bells answer softly through the darkness. The fine sand receives another line of footsteps that tomorrow's wind will patiently erase. Nothing resists this cycle anymore. The travelers understand that disappearance is not the opposite of meaning. Some of the most meaningful things are never meant to remain visible, a blessing spoken softly, a helping hand offered without witness, a road remembered only because someone else was kind enough to show the way. As another peaceful night settles across the Silk Road, One gentle realization seems to accompany every step. Perhaps no one truly owns a journey. We simply join it for a little while. We care for it while it has been entrusted to us. Then, quietly, we leave it in good hands for those who are already walking somewhere beyond the next horizon. Somewhere beyond the next horizon, another pair of hands is already reaching for the same road. The travelers who have walked beside us do not know their names, nor do they need to. The Silk Road has never belonged to a single generation. It has always welcomed those arriving just as gently as it has released those preparing to leave. The caravan moves onward beneath another quiet dawn. Its pace has become so familiar that the body no longer notices the gentle swaying of the Bactrian camels. The bronze bells speak with the same low voices they offered on the very first night of our journey. The leather harnesses still answer with patient creaks. The fine sand still receives each careful step before surrendering it once again to the wind. Nothing asks to be remembered. Nothing asks to remain. And perhaps that quiet acceptance is the greatest strength the road has ever possessed. Far ahead, the promise of great cities slowly becomes more than imagination. The names that once existed only in conversation now begin to feel closer. Chang'an, Samarkand, places that have lived in memory for months. Yet something curious happens as the destination approaches. The travelers no longer dream about arrival as often as they once did. The road has gently changed the meaning of success. Once, the goal seemed to be reaching another city. Now, the greater achievement has become reaching another morning together. Another shared meal. Another peaceful night beneath familiar stars. The destination remains important, but it is no longer everything. Perhaps this is what every long journey quietly teaches. When the first step is taken, we believe happiness waits somewhere ahead. By the 1,000th step, we discover it has been walking beside us all along. A guide smiles gently as he watches the caravan continue across the open land. He has crossed these routes many times. He already knows what the younger merchants have not yet realized. One day, after unloading every crate, after exchanging every bundle of silk, after selling every piece of jade, they will miss the road. Not immediately. At first, the comfort of walls will feel welcome. The stillness of sleeping beneath a roof will seem luxurious. The certainty of familiar streets will bring relief. But slowly, almost without warning, another feeling will arrive. The memory of open horizons, the quiet breathing of camels beneath the stars, the low voices of bronze bells drifting across cold desert nights, the hidden rush of water beneath turpan, the fragrance of incense lingering within the cool stone of Dunhuang, the warmth of strangers sharing a fire inside a caravanserai. The human heart is curious. It often longs most deeply for places that once demanded its greatest patience. The caravan continues. No one speaks very much. Words have gradually become less necessary. The travelers have learned one another's rhythms. One adjusts a slipping bundle before another asks. Someone quietly offers water without being requested. A guide notices a tired camel before fatigue becomes suffering. Months together have transformed strangers into companions, not through dramatic moments, through countless ordinary kindnesses. The Silk Road rarely produced heroes. It quietly cultivated dependable people. There is a profound difference. Heroes often appear for a single extraordinary moment. dependable people quietly sustain the world every day. Perhaps that has always been the hidden strength of these caravans. No single traveler could have crossed the desert alone. Every safe arrival depended upon quiet cooperation, a shared burden, a borrowed tool, a watchful eye beneath the stars. The road rewarded those who remembered that survival itself could become an act of generosity. The afternoon light grows softer. A breeze carries familiar scents through the caravan once more. The raw silk still holds the faint memory of mulberry leaves. Leather, wrapped spices release gentle traces of cinnamon, clove, musk, and camphor as the warmth of the day settles upon them. The cool weight of coat and jade rests patiently inside its wrappings. Months have passed. The cargo has changed very little. The people carrying it have changed profoundly. Perhaps this has always been the quieter exchange taking place along the Silk Road. Merchandise arrived at distant markets. Human beings arrived as different versions of themselves. The desert had slowly polished unnecessary certainty away. The stars had expanded every traveler's understanding of scale. The endless repetition of careful footsteps had softened pride into humility. The caravan had transformed independence into trust. None of these changes could be packed inside a wooden crate. Yet they became the most valuable things brought home. Evening approaches once again. The first cool air quietly replaces the lingering warmth of the afternoon. Heavy wool settles across tired shoulders with familiar comfort. No one complains about the cold anymore. It has become another companion. The bells resume their patient rhythm. Above them, Polaris quietly takes its faithful place. The Pleiades emerge once more. Sirius follows. The guide barely needs to look. The heavens and the road have learned one another so completely that they seem to move together. There is something deeply reassuring about this final stretch, not because uncertainty has disappeared, because the travelers have become comfortable walking beside it. They no longer require every answer before taking the next step. They have discovered that trust grows most naturally in landscapes where certainty is impossible. The wind begins its familiar work behind the caravan. Already, today's footprints are growing softer. Tomorrow they will disappear. The travelers smile without sadness. The desert is only completing its ancient promise to keep no footsteps, yet carry every journey. And as another peaceful night gathers around the caravan, one quiet thought seems to drift through the darkness alongside the gentle voices of the bells. Perhaps no road is ever truly remembered by the ground upon which it was walked. Perhaps every great journey continues instead inside the people who were willing to walk it slowly enough to become part of its silence. To become part of the silence is perhaps the final gift any journey can offer. The travelers do not speak of this. They simply live it. The caravan rises once more beneath a sky that has watched countless generations make the same quiet preparations. Heavy wool is folded. Leather straps are tightened. The bronze bells are checked by practiced hands. The Bactrian camels slowly stand, one after another with their familiar swaying motion. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is delayed. The road has always preferred balance to urgency. It is easy to imagine that the Silk Road belonged to history. Yet for the people walking upon it, there was only the present. Yesterday's campfire had become cold ash. Tomorrow's resting place had not yet appeared. There was only today's careful rhythm. Today's water, today's stars, today's companionship. Perhaps this explains why the journey possessed such remarkable clarity. A life stretched across 2 or 3 years could not be carried all at once. It could only be lived one measured day after another. The caravan master understands this better than anyone. He never asks whether they have crossed enough deserts. He asks whether every camel has water. He does not wonder how history will remember their journey. He listens for the familiar harmony of the bronze bells. If one voice is missing, he notices, not because the caravan has become smaller, because every life within it matters. The bells continue speaking together, low, steady, patient. Each carries a slightly different tone. Alone, a single bell offers only one quiet note. Together, they become something richer. A moving harmony across the empty desert. Perhaps human communities have always sounded the same. Each voice distinct, each life unique. Meaning appears not through uniformity, but through companionship. The wind drifts gently across the Taklamakan. Its touch remains as soft as flour slipping through open fingers. It lifts the surface of the dunes almost playfully. Somewhere far away, where the great singing sands gather near Dunhuang, the movement of perfectly rounded grains once again awakens that deep, resonant hum. Low, steady, almost like distant breathing. The travelers pause, not from fear, from recognition. Generations before them heard this same mysterious sound. Many wondered whether the desert itself possessed a sleeping spirit. Today we understand the quiet meeting of wind and sand. Yet understanding has not diminished wonder. If anything, it has deepened it. There is beauty in knowing how something happens. There is equal beauty in simply listening. The caravan continues through the cool morning. Far away beyond deserts and mountains, families begin ordinary days without knowing exactly where their loved ones now walk. A wife in Samarkand wonders whether the seasons have already changed beyond the Pamirs. A child grows taller while a father counts another night beneath unfamiliar stars. An elder quietly watches the road outside the city gates. Waiting requires its own form of courage. The ancient letters preserve this truth with remarkable tenderness. They spoke not of kings or battles, but of debts still unpaid, partners lost, homesickness carried across impossible distances, wives asking husbands to return, simple concerns, profoundly human. The Silk Road has often been described through luxury, silk, spices, jade, yet beneath every precious cargo traveled something even more valuable. Hope. Hope that the next Usis would appear. Hope that another winter could be survived. Hope that familiar faces would still be waiting after years apart. Hope became the invisible freight shared by every caravan. Perhaps that is why these journeys continue touching us across so many centuries. The details belong to another age. The emotions do not. The afternoon light settles gently across the desert floor. The camels breathe with the same slow rhythm that has accompanied us since the beginning. The leather harnesses creak softly. Wooden crates shift almost imperceptibly. Nothing dramatic interrupts the day. The Silk Road has never depended upon dramatic moments. Its greatness has always emerged through faithful repetition. Another step, another mile, another quiet act of trust. As evening approaches, the caravan reaches a place where travelers have rested many times before. No monument marks it. No inscription names it. Only experience remembers. One generation recognized this shelter. Then another, then another. The road does not preserve memory in stone. It preserves memory in practice. Someone once discovered that this place offered protection from the wind. Others remembered. Someone learned which stars guided the safest crossing. Others listened. Someone first followed hidden water toward an oasis. Others trusted that wisdom. Knowledge became inheritance. Not because it was owned, because it was shared. Night settles gently across the landscape. Above, the familiar constellations quietly reclaim the sky. The guide raises his eyes almost instinctively. Polaris remains faithful. The Pleiades continue their patient turning. Sirius glimmers with calm certainty. The heavens have changed far less than the generations walking beneath them. There is comfort in that continuity. The caravan grows quiet, not from exhaustion alone, from contentment. There are moments when words begin adding less than silence. This is one of them. The bells continue their low conversation. The camels breathe. The stars watch. The desert listens. And somewhere beyond the darkness, another caravan has already begun preparing for its own long crossing. Its travelers will carry different names, different hopes, different letters folded carefully among their belongings. Yet they will meet the same wind, hear the same singing sand, wrap themselves against the same sudden cold, follow the same patient stars. The road waits for no one, yet somehow it always has room for everyone willing to walk with humility through its endless, beautiful silence. Humility has a quiet way of making every traveler feel welcome beneath the same stars. Perhaps that is why the desert never seems lonely. It is vast, it is silent, yet it is never empty. Every grain of sand has rested beneath countless dawns. Every wind has crossed paths with travelers separated by centuries. Every night sky has watched one caravan disappear while another slowly emerged from the darkness beyond the horizon. The road continues, not because anyone commands it to, because the simple desire to reach another human heart has never disappeared. The caravan now moves with such gentle certainty that movement itself feels almost effortless. The bronze bells no longer interrupt the silence. They belong to it. The slow breathing of the camels no longer seems separate from the wind. The rhythm of footsteps no longer feels distinct from time itself. Everything has gradually found its proper place. Perhaps this has been happening within the travelers as well. Months ago, each person carried private ambitions, individual fears, personal expectations. Now, those sharp edges have softened. The caravan has become a single living rhythm. Not because everyone thinks alike, because everyone has learned to listen. The oldest guide understands this without searching for words. He has seen many caravans begin. He has watched many disappear into memory. He knows that every journey eventually reaches a moment when the destination becomes less important than the way people have treated one another along the road. The finest silk will one day become threadbare. The richest spices will eventually lose their fragrance. Even the smooth jade from the white jade river will outlive the hands that once carried it. Yet a kindness freely given continues, traveling in ways no merchant can measure. Perhaps that has always been the rarest cargo crossing these deserts. Night settles gently once more. The familiar cold arrives with quiet confidence. Heavy wool cloaks are wrapped around tired shoulders almost without thought. The body remembers before the mind does. The camp forms its familiar circle. The camels kneel. The wooden crates become simple seats. A small fire offers gentle warmth without disturbing the surrounding darkness. Around its glow, conversation remains soft. Different languages mingle once again. A Sogdian merchant quietly shares bread. A Buddhist pilgrim listens more than he speaks. A trader who honors the sacred fire of his own tradition gazes thoughtfully into these ordinary flames. No debate rises above the crackling wood. No one seeks victory, only understanding. The fire slowly settles into glowing embers. Ideas move between people as naturally as warmth. No one records these conversations. No chronicler writes them down. Yet perhaps they become the most important exchanges of all. Long after silk has faded, long after markets have changed door, the memory of being heard with patience remains. The desert has always known that the strongest bridges are invisible. The stars climb higher. Polaris remains quietly faithful. The Pleiades drift almost imperceptibly across the heavens. Sirius shines with the same calm certainty that guided travelers long before this caravan ever existed. The guide lifts his eyes only briefly. He does not admire the stars because they are extraordinary. He trusts them because they are dependable. There is profound comfort in what remains steady. The bells grow quieter as the animals rest. Only the occasional creak of leather gently reminds the travelers that tomorrow will ask them to rise once again. No one resists that invitation anymore. The road has taught acceptance, not the acceptance of defeat, the acceptance of rhythm. Day follows night, warmth follows cold, departure follows arrival. One generation quietly follows another. Everything moves. Nothing is truly lost. Far behind the caravan, the wind continues smoothing away the final traces of today's passage. By morning, no footprints will remain, no wheel marks, no sign that anyone crossed this stretch of desert at all. And yet, the journey has happened. The conversations have happened. The shared water, the offered bread, the patient guidance beneath unfamiliar constellations. None of these require visible evidence to become real. Perhaps memory itself is like the hidden Carrez canals beneath Turpin, invisible from above, quietly sustaining life below the surface. We often imagine history as something preserved inside palaces and monuments. The Silk Road gently suggests another possibility. Perhaps history survives just as faithfully inside habits, inside stories, inside songs, inside the simple decision to greet a stranger with curiosity rather than fear. Those are roads no wind can erase. The eastern horizon slowly begins changing once again. Another dawn approaches with unhurried grace. The travelers rise. The familiar motions return. Leather is tightened, bundles carefully balanced. The camels stand with their slow, swaying strength. The bells awaken. Another day begins exactly as so many others have begun before it. No announcement is needed. The road understands. And so do the travelers. They have discovered something that can only be learned at the pace of 15 or 20 miles a day. That a meaningful life is rarely built through extraordinary moments alone. It is woven from ordinary mornings accepted with gratitude, ordinary evenings shared with generosity, ordinary footsteps repeated with quiet faith. The caravan begins moving once more, not toward an ending, toward another horizon, as it always has, as it always will, beneath the same endless sky that has watched humanity patiently weave itself together, one careful step at a time. The final rhythm of the journey is not found where the road ends. It is found in the quiet realization that every careful step has already become part of something far older and far gentler than any single traveler. The caravan continues for a little while longer, not because another destination must still be reached, but because every journey deserves to slow before it finally becomes memory. The morning light spreads softly across the desert. The fine sand glows with pale gold. For a few brief moments, each tiny grain catches the sun before returning to its familiar stillness. Nothing asks to be admired. Nothing asks to be remembered. The earth simply continues being itself. The travelers understand that now they no longer measure the distance remaining. Time itself has changed shape. Once they counted months, then mountain passes, then Isis after Osis. Now they count quiet moments, the gentle sound of bronze bells, the cool weight of wool against the morning air, the familiar scent of raw silk carrying the faint memory of mulberry leaves. The warmth rising from leather bundles filled with cinnamon, clove, camphor, and musk as the sun slowly climbs higher. These small things have become enough. Perhaps they always were. The oldest guide walks near the front of the caravan. His eyes spend less time searching the horizon than they once did. Instead, they rest upon the rhythm of the camels, upon the breathing of the people beside him, upon the peaceful certainty that every traveler knows where to place the next step. He has spent a lifetime following Polaris, reading the slow turning of the Pleiades, trusting Sirius through countless nights. Yet he understands something even the stars cannot teach. No road truly belongs to those who walk it. For a little while, we belong to the road. Then, gently, we return ourselves to time. The thought brings no sadness, only peace. For this has always been the agreement between humanity and the earth. We borrow its paths, its rivers, its mountains, its deserts for a single lifetime. Then we leave them waiting quietly for someone else. The Taklamakan has watched this exchange for centuries. The wind asks no questions. It simply performs its patient work. Already, yesterday's footprints have disappeared completely. Soon, today's will follow. Tomorrow's footprints are still waiting inside the future. The desert welcomes each one equally and releases each one with the same kindness. There is remarkable fairness in that. The caravan reaches a gentle rise. For one quiet moment, everyone pauses. Behind them stretches an ocean of sand without a visible road. Ahead, another horizon waits beneath the endless sky. Neither direction seems more important than the other. The past has become gratitude. The future has become trust. The present is enough. Somewhere, hidden beneath distant earth, the waters of the Kerez continue their silent journey toward thirsty roots and waiting fields. Somewhere inside the cool chambers of the Mogao caves, incense once burned while careful hands painted prayers upon stone in hope of safe passage. Somewhere, preserved inside forgotten watchtowers, simple letters still carry the voices of merchants longing for home. Not kings, not conquerors, ordinary people, people who worried, who hoped, who missed their families, who believed another sunrise was worth walking toward. Their footsteps vanished. Their humanity did not. Perhaps this has always been the true inheritance of the Silk Road, not silk, not jade, not spices. The quiet discovery that every distant stranger carries a heart remarkably similar to our own. The road revealed this slowly. One shared fire, one shared drink, one shared silence beneath familiar stars. No empire could command such understanding. It could only be earned. Patiently, the bells continue their low conversation. The sound grows softer as the caravan moves farther across the open land. Soon it becomes difficult to distinguish the bells from the wind itself. The two seem content to travel together. Then even that gentle music begins fading into the immense stillness. The caravan grows smaller. The camels become quiet shapes upon the horizon. At last, they are little more than moving shadows beneath the sky. The wind continues. The stars will return this evening exactly where they have always returned. The desert will cool once more after another day of warmth. Nothing has ended. Only one journey has completed its turn within the endless circle of time. And perhaps as your own thoughts now grow quieter, you can almost hear those distant bronze bells one final time, not calling anyone forward, not asking anyone to follow, only reminding us that countless people, across countless generations, walked patiently through uncertainty so that distant worlds might become neighbors. Their names have become as light as sand carried by the wind. Yet their kindness remains woven into the world around us, invisible, steady, enduring. Now the road rests, the fire has become ash. The stars keep their silent watch. The desert breathes with the same slow rhythm it has known for thousands of years. And somewhere beyond every remembered horizon, beyond every erased footprint, beyond every season that quietly passes into another, time continues its gentle journey, as it always has, as it always will. So, let the caravan disappear peacefully into the distance. Let the wind care for the footprints. Let the night gather softly around the ancient road, and let your own thoughts drift as gently as the desert sand beneath an endless sky. For the Silk Road was never merely a path across the earth. It was, and remains, a quiet reminder that the greatest journeys are measured not by how far we travel, but by how gently we learn to walk beside one another through time.